Hey there guys, it's Tina and I'm back, and I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. If you're also back, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me again. But if you're new and maybe you like what you see, please consider subscribing because we have tons of fun here on this channel talking about makeup and all things beauty. And today I am going to play in makeup. So I had received the Kaleidos Night of Creation collection set, which includes 2 eyeshadow quads, which, excuse me, absolutely stunning packaging. Like, look at this, come on. It's a fabric palette with this beautiful emblem on the front. It's absolutely stunning all over. We have a purple quad, and we also have a more neutral quad, which also has a little bit of a purpley hue to it. Let me go ahead and show you the swatches for these quads so you can see the shades that are included in case you are interested in picking these up and just want to see the swatches. So first up is the Flowing Haze palette, which is the more neutral of the 2 palettes. It has a base shade that is a light taupe, a radiate shade which is a lilac to gold sparkly duochrome, diffuse is a cool tone mauve taupe, and accentuate is a deep gunmetal shade which can be layered for a rich smoky look. Then we have Glowing Iris, which is the purpley quad, and this includes a base shade which is a pure clean vibrant iris blue. Radiate is a cool tone metallic heather with silver sparkles. Diffused is a light non-ashy periwinkle with soft focused texture, and Accentuate is a muted dark iris blue. These 2 quads are absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to show you the look that I created using both. This collection also includes the Epiphany Glow Melt On eyeliners, which are the multi-chrome eyeliners from Kaleidos. I did a full video on these comparing them to the 𝕊𝕦𝕒𝕟𝕜 multi-chrome pencils. I will link it over here so you can check it out. Let me also show you the swatches of the eyeliner pencils so you can see the shades that are included in the collection. There are 6 shades available. Again, I did a full video, so check that video out. But since I'm using one of the shades in this video, I wanted to go ahead and show you the other 5 shades swatched out. These pencils are absolutely phenomenal and I'm so in love with them. They also sent me the Symphony Contour Trios, which are contour palettes with 2 shades for sculpting and chiseling and 1 highlight shade, which is also available as a single. So these are the Symphony Face Illuminators. These are the single highlighter shades from the Symphony Contour Trios. We're going to try these out in this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and dig into all of these products, play with the eyeshadow quads as well as the eyeliners, and even dabble into the face products. So if that sounds interesting to you, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into this eye look. I already filled in my brows and I applied a bit of eyeshadow primer to my lids as well as an eyeshadow base. I'm using the MAC Lane Low Paint Pot, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going for with this eye look, so I'm just going to wing it and go with whatever vibe flows my way. So I'm going to start out with the Flowing Haze palette, which is the more neutral of the palettes. And I'll start out with the base shade, which is kind of a neutral tan brown. And I'm just going to use a little bit of that on a larger blending brush right in the crease line. Let me zoom in just a bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm applying that on the outer crease and pulling it towards my brow, but not going all the way into the inner crease. Just keeping it on that outer crease line area. And as I mentioned, this shade is more on the neutral side, so it's given more of a gray hue on my skin tone. Now let's go in with the diffuse shade, which is a little bit deeper, still neutral leaning, and I'll apply that with a smaller blending brush. This is the BK Beauty 212, and I'm just going to create a little bit more depth in that socket line. So I am pressing it where my crease line is and just going back and forth, and that's gonna add a little bit more depth and dimension in that outer V and outer crease line. Now I'm going to grab the Glowing Iris palette, which has the purpley tones, and I'm going to grab the base shade from this palette. I'll grab that on a jumbo blender brush from Sonia G, and I'm applying that on the outer lid, not quite on the outer V, just on the outer lid to get that color. That looks so good, and I am not even pressing hard, and the color is picking up so well. That is such a good purple. And we've always heard that purples are difficult to make. Nope. Not at all. Like, look at that. That is so pretty. Then also from the Glow in Iris palette, I'm going to grab the Accentuate shade, which is the deeper purple. And I'm grabbing this on a much smaller blending brush. This is from Sonia Kashuk. It's just their crease brush. The handle is a little bit different because it was from a special set, but it's still just their crease brush. And I'm using that to build up a little bit of dimension with that dark purple. Now these colors are really pigmented, so I'm not applying too much and I'm just lightly dabbing. Now I'm realizing that this color is a little bit more patchy. It's not layering up as opaquely as I want. You'll see that they're like little blotchy spots. So I'm gonna go back in with that purple that we had down and just kind of blend that out so it doesn't look as patchy. Let me try out the Accentuate shade from the Flowing Haze palette instead. Same brush, we're just gonna see if we can build that color up just to add some depth and dimension. And this one actually builds up a lot better than the dark purple. This is filling out everything so there is no patchiness. And I'll just blend out the edges lightly. Let me clean off my brush so I don't get any added color. And I'll just go around the edges very lightly. This one's a little bit higher than this one, so let me add a little bit more color. And I can always blend it down just a little bit, but let me just even them out. All right, now which one of these Radiate shades should we use? This one is from Glow in Iris. It's a little bit more blue based. It looks a little bit more lavender and it's lighter. It also has like silvery sparkles to it. Then we have the Flowing Haze one, which is deeper, a little bit smokier. I like that. It's a little bit more red toned as well. Either one could go really. Should we mix them? Let's do the Glow in Iris one first. So I'll just tap that on the lid, not going all the way on the inner lid. Ooh, so that one is lighter. Let me do the Flowing Haze on this side so you can see the difference in color. That makes more sense. So this is the more purpley one, didn't blend it yet, and then this one is the more silvery hue. I actually prefer this one because it's a little bit deeper. This one is a little bit too silvery for me, but I think if I layer the two, we can get a color we'll both be happy with. And by both, I mean me. Me and myself, because we're having a battle here. I'm just putting the Flowing Haze one on. Yeah, so it's a little bit darker. And so if you mix it then with the Glow in Iris, it brightens it a little bit. So I actually prefer that layering technique. And I'm using the same brush that we used with the purple from Sonia G, and it's picking up the color really well, so you don't even need to just use fingers with these. And I have fallout from the mattes, but not as much fallout from the shimmery shades. Now I feel like we can add a little bit of diffuse from the Glow in Iris palette, which is the light lavender, and pop that on the inner tear duct. Let's see how it goes. It's not like a very light pastel. It's a little bit richer and deeper, so it's not going to really stand out too much. Oh, but that's pretty. This would make a great color all over the lid. Yeah, that's definitely really nice. And I'll just blend it upwards. All right, let me go ahead and clean up this fallout, add my foundation and lashes, and be right back to do some contouring. Hold up, before we jump into the face, let's go in with a bit of eyeliner. So this is one of the Epiphany Glow Melt On eyeliners. The shade is Night of Creation. It's the purple shade. Oh my God. Let's go ahead and apply this to the waterline. These are so stunning. If you get nothing else from Kaleidos, get these eyeliners. They are so good. They are budge proof, smudge proof. They stay on the waterline really well. You can still smudge them out before they set down, but they set down to a very long wearing finish, and they're absolutely amazing. And you can actually see the multi-chrome glow in these. And one thing you can do is allow the first layer to dry down and then go in with a second layer to really amp up the color. And of course you can use these on the eyelids, under the eyes, or on the waterline like I'm doing right now. And just look at this. I'm gonna get really creepy right now, but look at that purple. It is so stunning. It has like a blue reflect to it that makes it that more interesting. It is gorgeous, okay? And now let's go on to the rest of the face. All right, so I am back with my foundation applied and set down with a light dusting of powder, just to make sure there are no tacky areas left behind. And we're gonna go ahead and grab the Symphony Contour Trios. I have the shade Tan and Dark. We're probably going to go between the two. And I also have the Face Illuminators, also in Tan and Dark. And I'm thinking that Tan may be a little bit too light, but maybe not. It can still probably work. And then Dark may be a little bit too deep. So you can see I'm probably somewhere in between these two. I prefer the Dark for the bronzing shades, but then the contour shade may be better from the Tan trio. So we're gonna go ahead and play around with them. And I also have the Face Illuminators. So this one is Dark, which is a little bit more on the peachy side. And then this one is Tan, which I think will work better as an illuminator or like a highlight shade, versus this one, which is definitely more suited for setting my foundation down. So we're not going to use Dark, we're going to use Tan, because I think this will definitely work better for an illuminator shade. So the singles are supposed to be the same shade as the fill shade in the trios, which is the highlighter shade. So these are the same shade, and I'm going to apply that under the eyes to kind of lift and brighten. I already set under my eyes, but I feel like this might add a little bit of brightening under my, ooh, yes it did. And then I'll apply a little bit also to the center of my forehead and also to my chin. I am not a big highlighter fan. I don't apply highlighter all over my face, but an illuminating trio, I can see applying that brightening shade in those areas where people tend to add like a lighter concealer or even a shimmery highlighter, because I personally don't use a lighter shade of concealer, so adding a little bit of brightening lift can work out. I actually think the Tan shade may be a little bit too rich and deep, so I'm going to try out the medium shade, which looks hella light, but because I have foundation on and I feel like the Tan shade didn't lift as much as I expected, because these aren't heavily pigmented, they kind of have a light finish to them. So even though it looks opaque in the pan, like it's gonna be way too light, I think that works as a lifting shade on my complexion. So if you're using me for reference, maybe go in with the medium shade instead and get the contour trio in Tan or Dark and the highlighter as a single, so you can kind of mix and match, because the medium is definitely giving me more of that lifting light effect. It's not shimmery. There's no glitter in it at all. There's no sheen. There's no glitter. It's just a lighter shade. Now let's go in with the contour. I think I'm going to use the Tan, and I'm going to grab the center shade, which is the chisel shade. This is meant to contour, and it has a little bit of a cooler neutral undertone, so it's a little bit more gray base, and that's going to create more of a shadow. It's a very subtle effect on my skin tone, and you can see it definitely does show up on my complexion. So The tan one may be the one I need to use because that is giving me a lot more color than I expected. It's not overly pigmented at all though. It is blending out, so that's not the issue. It's just, it's going to definitely show up on my skin tone. Let's try out the chisel shade then, which is the bronzier tone. I was a little bit worried that this wouldn't be rich enough and it wouldn't give me enough color, but that is actually giving me some shading and some bronzing. Okay, and the color isn't reading orange either. It's definitely giving me a tan look to my hairline. Okay, and I'll blend some of that over the contour shade as well, just to warm it up a bit. I don't like a contour that is gray based because I feel like it doesn't work with my complexion because I have more of a warm leaning undertone, so using a gray tone is gonna look gray and ashy, but if I use something a little bit warmer, it will work out. Yeah, so I think the tan is our friend. Let me go in with a touch of the dark so we can see how this goes. I'll use a little bit of the chisel shade. I'm a little bit nervous, so I'm gonna use very little. Yeah, this is definitely more pigmented. I feel like if you want to pick two up, you could go with the dark and the tan and kind of mix the shades together. The tan one, even though that looks very orange, again, it's not reading too orange. It's giving more of a tan look to my skin, which I appreciate. That looks nice, but I definitely think this Sculpt shade is gonna be too dark. Let's try just a hint of it. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's too rich. That is too rich. I gotta buff that out. That is too dark. So tan is probably your friend. Stay away from dark. The dark is definitely a lot richer on my complexion now that I have a full face on than I was expecting from just the swatches. So we're gonna stay in the tan range. I was really thinking that dark was gonna be my trio, and if that was the case, then that means dark and deep don't really go as deep as they should for richer, darker skin tones. So I'm happy to see that tan is actually my trio, and so dark and deep will work on deeper skin tones. I'm also gonna use one of their blushes in Ecstasy. This is like a light pink. It's just gonna give me a little kiss of color on the cheeks. Nothing crazy. These aren't heavily pigmented blushes, but they'll give a kiss of color, which I appreciate because I don't always want to go for a bold blush. Sometimes I just want a little bit of color. And given how bronze I look right now, let me just blend everything together because we're looking a little bit too bronze. Okay, there we go. I think this looks great. I am happy with this trio. Now, if you have dry skin, you might find this a little bit too much powder, and you would definitely need to go in with like a setting or finishing spray. But for me, it's working out. Don't mind this pimple. But yeah, the powders are really smooth. They don't look dry and cakey on my skin, but I can see them caking up on drier skin. I like how this looks. It looks really natural. It doesn't look heavy at all. I think this is beautiful. And also, did you see the eyes? Let me come back in so you can see, like, the eyes are stunning as well. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the look that I was able to create using the Night of Creation collection from Kaleidos makeup. You also saw me play with the Symphony contour trios as well as the face illuminators. There will be a full video coming up showcasing those specific products, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a sneak peek of those products as well in this video because I was just playing with everything Kaleidos. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I would definitely recommend these quads. They are so beautiful. The shades are gorgeous. They apply well. The mattes are really smooth and pigmented. I really enjoy both of these palettes. If you're looking for a good purple quad, this one is a great one to pick up. Again, this is Glowing Iris. And even the neutral palette, which is the Flowing Haze, is so amazing. They also have a couple more quads from their previous collections. One was the Black Jasmine, which was like a gray smoky palette, and also Cold Brew, which had more neutral tones. I would recommend any of those quads because the eyeshadow quality is the same across the board and they're really easy to work with, really blendable, really smooth, really pigmented. I really love the quality of the eyeshadows. And the eyeliner pencils, listen, okay? These are the star of the show for me. If you wanted a multi-chrome eyeliner pencil, this is where you'll find it, and they have a great deal for them. There's 6 shades available, and they're absolutely stunning. So I definitely say check these out. And as I said, there will be a full video coming up for the face products. Those are the Contour Trios and the Face Illuminators. So stay tuned for that. I will leave links below on where you can pick these up on the Kaleidos website in case you are interested. I say pick up the eyeliners. Hands down, those are the best products I've tried in this video, but the quads are also top notch. I will also leave links to my Instagram and Twitter, where you should be following me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.